One of Jonas Salk's visions for the Salk Institute was to merge science with art, and that's very evident if you just take a step outside of the laboratory here and you look at the beautiful buildings that are here. And at face value, science and art may seem like they're not related at all, but they actually are beautifully intertwined. Creativity leads to innovation, and innovation is what really leads to amazing science. In biology, I think we become very focused on understanding the very intricate details of things. And when we do that, we forget how valuable it can be to just take a step back and look at how things are working in our bodies or in other biological systems. And so in my field, just taking a step back and using microscopy to visualize where bacteria are, that can be very informative for us, and it can help guide our research and help us get more at the answers to our questions.
If we want to discover something that no one else has discovered before, we need to use some approach that has never been used before. So science is actually pretty demanding in terms of creativity and imagination and curiosity, all of which are, at the heart of art. The common thread in my research is that we work to develop and apply new cutting-edge imaging technologies and approaches to all of the research that's happening at the Salk Institute. Nothing captures that better than microscopy, in my opinion.
Programs like Women in Science allow me to talk to public and spread my passion and show my research and get a feedback that is very important.
This year's Women in Science Design and Discovery program is really focused around the science of microscopy and the beautiful art images that one can find buried within that microscopy. Now, when I talk about microscopy, trust me, I'm not talking about the microscope I grew up with or my mother did. I'm talking about the most singular advanced technology in science today, and that is the ability for our scientists to look through microscopes and see the most extraordinary views of cells and genes and proteins and enzymes at a level never before seen. Now, at the same time, when they look at these images, they're also seeing works of incredible natural beauty. The visions of our cells, especially when they're injected with the various dyes that are used to put forward the research, the effects are visually stunning. And those visions add to the creativity and the innovation that the scientist feels when they're looking at these extraordinary images. The images that you are going to see in this program have been culled from all the researchers at the Institute. All were asked to participate. About 20 people submitted stunning images from their labs. Of those, a winner was chosen, 10 runner-ups were chosen, and of course, all of this art that's been created all goes towards funding for the awards program for our young female researchers at the Institute.
Science often rewards and supports the already established scientists that are in the field, but it's important to not forget that a lab is not composed of a single scientist. It's composed of many scientists that are working together to solve the greater problem and goal of the lab. And that includes primarily young scientists, graduate students, and postdocs, and also research technicians in the field. And it's important to help support scientists at that level, and that's why I think it's important to support programs like Salk's Women in Science, because it does promote diversity in science.
I think Jonas Salk would have been very proud of this program that combines women and science, art and science, and great discoveries.
One of my scientific heroes, his name's Idan Segev in Israel, he actually forces his entire lab to go to what's called a kibbutz in Israel that is known for having many resident artists. And he forces everyone in his lab to interact with these artists for several days. And in the beginning, they're usually resistant to it, like, why are we doing this? We're wasting our time. We need to get to work. What are we going to get out of this? And then almost immediately, they actually really warm up to each other, and they end up getting a whole bunch of ideas from each other and getting, sort of refreshment on how to think about what they're doing. And they come back and they end up doing better science than they ever did before.